Hey, it's Mike from the Run Testers, and in this video I'm going to be talking about this watch. This is the Polar Pacer. Now, we've already reviewed the Polar Pacer Pro. This is the cheaper version, technically the stripped back version, but actually it's not that stripped backed, I don't think. And in terms of how it compares to the Coros Pace 2 and the Garmin Forerunner 55, which it kind of sits up against, there's potentially a very good kind of affordable running watch here. So what I'm going to do is take you through the key design and running features, get into those kind of initial running thoughts, and then give me my verdict on the Polar Pacer. So what is the Polar Pacer? Well, it's Polar's running focused watch that aims to give runners all they need to track their runs and help optimise your training. It's priced at £169.50 in the UK and $199.95 in the US. Put it in the pricing realms of the Garmin Forerunner 55 and the Coros Pace 2. On the design front, you're getting one strap size option and 4 strap colours, including this deep teal option. Those straps are removable via a pin mechanism around the back of the strap. There's a 45mm size case that measures in at 11.5mm thick and weighs in at 40 grams. Front and centre is a 1.2 inch 240 by 240 memory pixel display that isn't touchscreen but does stay always on. There's 5 physical buttons, and as a package it's water resistant up to 15 meters depth. Running features wise, you're getting support for 4 key satellite systems and an improved antenna design for improved tracking accuracy. Polar's Precision Prime optical heart rate sensor is included with the ability to pair up with external heart rate monitors. It offers training features including FitSpark, suggested workouts, FuelWise smart fueling reminders, Training Load Pro insights, access to Polar's running program, and includes running performance and Polar's new walking test to help beginner runners assess fitness levels. Key running differences between the Pacer and the Pacer Pro are that the Pacer Pro offers route import, planning, and turn-by-turn guidance. It lacks route and elevation profiles, barometric altitude data, hill splitter data, and running power requires a third-party sensor. It does deliver 24/7 activity tracking and Polar's nightly recharge measurements. It also offers notifications, music controls, and weather updates like the Pacer Pro. Battery life is 100 hours in power save mode, 35 hours with GPS and heart rate monitoring, and up to 7 days in smartwatch mode. Just done my first run with the Polar Pacer, pretty easy going. I've done kind of 5k and then a couple of k back home. I get a sense of what it's like to run with, how it kind of compares to the Polar Pacer Pro, how it kind of compares to the kind of similar price watches at this price range. Kind of design wise, pretty kind of standard in terms of Polar. You've got that kind of memory and pixel display, so not the best display you got out there, but in terms of visibility outdoors, it's absolutely fine. The screen, again, it's a bit like what we've seen on Polars before. You've got a lot of bezel, more bezel than I'd like on that, around that screen, and you almost wish you kind of stretch this out a little bit more to the edge of that case. But ultimately, it's a nice light watch to run with, kind of what I would look for in a running watch in general. And from a design point of view, all kind of really spot on. Nothing groundbreaking in terms of what we've got from a Polar watch here. They're definitely trying to make their watches a bit more eye-catching, so that's why you've got this kind of more colourful strap on here, and there's more colourful strap options for the Pacer like there are for the Pacer Pro. So yeah, from design and fit kind of point of view, all pretty solid for me. Felt comfortable to run in. The screen was fine. It's not the best screen quality you can get on a watch at the moment, but in terms of visibility outdoors, where probably you want it to kind of deliver the most, it was absolutely fine on that front. So in terms of that run test, not all perfect, not too bad, but I did have a couple of issues, a little kind of question marks about how it's going to perform over a kind of longer period of testing. First thing is kind of getting a lock on onto a kind of GPS signal. It took me ages. I mean, it always kind of generally happens on that first run, but it was definitely well over 5 minutes for me. It did improve when I was running back on my run. The GPS picked up a little bit quicker. It was still a little bit slow. But yeah, it got better over time. Generally, in terms of those metrics, it was fine. It was short, obviously, on that first run, just because it took a while to kind of lock on to that signal. It was better on the kind of second run, the kind of couple of K that I did back. In terms of heart rate monitoring, not fantastic. The average heart rate was the same as the kind of MyZone chest strap I had paired to the Garmin Epics, but the maximum heart rate was, I think, 8 or 9 BPM over the chest strap, so which is not the kind of performance you want to see ultimately in your running. And I was running pretty easy as well, although hot conditions, but I would expect a little bit better, and probably expect it to kind of fall off on high intensity kind of training, which is wasn't what I was doing. In terms of battery life performance, it was kind of 8 or 9% drop off in terms of the 30-40 minutes of running that I did, so not fantastic. Pretty much what I'd expect at this from the watch anyway. So yeah, the run test, that first initial run test, okay, not perfect, a couple of definite question marks on performance, but yeah, you know, the longer term testing will kind of really show whether this is a watch that's up to the task in terms of tracking your runs. So initial verdict on the Polar Pacer is, I think from a design point of view, what I would kind of want from a running watch. It's nice and light. Is Polar breaking new ground in terms of what you're getting in that design? Not really. And even in terms of Polar's watches and other watches, it's nothing groundbreaking in terms of what you're getting here. It's very similar in terms of the design, what you're getting in terms of a screen, and you know, obviously you're getting some brighter, colourful straps, but that's about it really. I think, you know, compared to what else is out there, you know, it's a nice looking watch, but other than that, I don't think you're getting anything really innovative in terms of design. In terms of running performance, I think, yeah, I mean, I had a couple of issues, obviously, things that I've kind of seen in Polar watches before, but you know, very short runs, and I'm willing to kind of reserve judgment and see how it performs better, and hopefully maybe, you know, it holds up better on the kind of heart rate monitor performance, and that GPS kind of lock on being a little bit quicker, more reliable as well. So in terms of how it compares to the competition, you're obviously looking at things like the Coros Pace 2, the Garmin Forerunner 55, which this watch kind of sits around that price range. I think it sits pretty well in terms of what you're getting there. You know, the key things for me, you're not getting that kind of route import navigation stuff. You're getting kind of back to the start, but that's about it. But that's kind of what you're getting on those watches as well. And then it's, you know, you've got access to those polar kind of training analysis features, most of them really, in terms of what you get on the kind of Polar Pacer Pro. You're getting some of the newer tests as well. You're not missing out on a massive amount of like core running performance. In terms of that, in terms of the price, I think that's pretty good. I think, you know, this is the watch of the Polar Pacer Pro and the Polar Pacer that I think we were most intrigued about. I think in terms of what you're getting here, I think you're getting good value for money. Is it better than what you get in the Forerunner 55 and the Coros Pace 2? Not 100% sure. Maybe it's a little bit nicer looking than the Coros Pace 2, but I think, you know, that's a nice light watch, and it offers, I think, maybe stronger battery life on paper, and kind of GPS kind of battery as well. But I think there's a lot to kind of like, and I think if you like the Polar platform and the ecosystem, you like the training features, things like FuelWise, and kind of FitSpark are there as well. I think there's strong features, you know, to have at this price. Then I think there's something, you know, there's a lot to like about this watch. Whether I would pick it over the Forerunner 55 or the Coros Pace 2, I'm not 100% sure, but it has all the kind of ingredients there to be a good kind of cheap, affordable running watch, focusing on those kind of core, you know, running features that you would want, just outside of the navigation stuff, which, you know, you'd expect not to see at this price anyway. So there you have it. Those are my initial thoughts on the Polar Pace, and obviously hopefully some of the other guys will have this watch in soon as well, so we can do a kind of multi-test review of it. Now, if you've got any questions about this watch, how it compares to other watches, whether there's particular features you want to know about, let us know in the comments. As always, like and subscribe, hit that little bell to find out about our latest videos, and yeah, we'll see you in the next Run Testers video.